Great to have you here. So you saw some of the launch pitches today. So we saw obviously a lot of AI, which I think is probably something that we expected. A lot of discussion around customer centricity, all-in-one platforms, and experiences was another topic that we saw come up a couple of times. Is there anything truly revolutionary that you're seeing, or are we still kind of scratching around the edges a little bit?
Look, what I find interesting, and I think it is the shift that the industry is going through, is for a long time we have been focusing on how we present products. So we are organizing our entire supply based on product categories. And I think now the focus of the innovation is around bringing this idea that the traveler is buying trips and we need to have a connected trip and we need to make things simpler. So I think as many industries, they have gone through that process and seen disruption coming from outside. I think that is the focus of everyone here on saying how we as travel industry build that solution. And it requires collaboration, because it is a big ecosystem. So I think AI, it is important because it is the means to an end, but I think the end is customer centricity.
Yeah. So speaking of AI, obviously huge hype cycle out of the gate. And each time you wait for that disillusionment phase, we seem to have another evolution of the technology. But I still think the industry is searching for that true ROI of AI. And I think maybe some disillusionment is starting to develop there. So are there any use cases that either you're working on at Amadeus or that you're seeing in the market where AI is really starting to drive home true ROI?
Okay. Look, I'm calling it goat fever. I think that everyone is at this moment with the fear that they're going to miss the boat, that you need to invest, you need to be looking at what AI could do for you. As you said, I believe that at this stage, we're talking about productivity. So essentially be it on the creation of agents in order to help on customer servicing, or be it on the possibility of assisting people in doing their jobs easier, because you have, let's say, how can I say, a virtual assistant that is able to be there and make you do your job better and faster. I think that everyone that is struggling is what you said about the ROI, because it's like this comes at a cost. It's going to be introduced on your cost base, and then the question is, does it really make sense, and can you really link that to sales? So I think that's where we are at. The part that I find that is still a question mark, and it could be very, very interesting and disruptive, is will Gen AI move into being top of the funnel? And will that change search? So it's like, I think that if we saw that, then that would be a game changer. And then we would be saying, it's like, look, a lot of other people would say whoever mastered that can change their competitive positioning vis-a-vis where they are in the industry. So I think that is the part to watch out.
So you talked about a boat. So are we talking about a high-speed speedboat? Are we talking about a sailboat? Are we talking about a rowboat? What type of boat are we on right now?
I think with the level of investment that we're seeing, it is a high-speed boat. I think that there is massive amount of investment. I think that there is amazing possibilities to a whole field of, because here we were discussing Gen AI, but we have deep learning, we have machine learning, you have new ways of interaction. So it is like, I think that there is plenty that is going in there. So it is like, no, it is fast. The thing is, as that is available for everyone, the question is, how can you create a differentiation out of AI? So it's a tool that is going to be available for everyone. I think we're all going to incorporate in our businesses. So it is a question of being a fast-paced adopter. We're not the one creating the technology. So I think that's the stuff for the travel industry. Question is, will that produce more disruption in terms of displacing players on the top of the funnel?
One more question about AI. I asked this question to Julie at Google. She oversees 700 engineers, and you certainly have a lot of engineers at Amadeus. What sort of return are your engineers getting by using AI? Is it still about productivity, or are they starting to really uncover some efficiencies?
Look, there are efficiencies, I'll tell you. First use case that we have that it is very interesting is it takes time in order to get the full productivity out of a new resource, bringing them up to speed. So it's like, thanks to Gen AI, we're helping people go through that cycle quicker. So essentially there's an entire environment in Amadeus that you need to get acquainted to in order to be a productive developer. So it is like, how can we have that trainer and train the developers in order for them to be as productive as fast as possible. And I think the second thing that is very interesting is around the sizing. So it is like many times, especially in agile type of environments, you're discussing how big and how difficult it is to do something. So it's kind of having Gen AI assisting you on saying, if Gen AI is able to provide a sizing, it means that things are probably simple. And then if you have more complexity, then it means that you can introduce a human. So I think these are some examples of start. Productivity is helping, but we're far away, let's say, from the idea that
from the Holy Grail.
Now on, we're not going to be able to ramp up with any more developers,
right,
because we're going to be able to gain productivity. I think we continue the pace of integrating close to 10% of additional developers every year. So I think it is, right now we're in a stage of evolution and not revolution.
So we covered, as we kind of shift from Amadeus, maybe looking outside to the industry, we covered your navigating the futures piece, which some research you conducted with some industry partners. So what's your sense of, I suppose the word is readiness for the industry to really start taking advantage of some of these AI tools that are out there?
Look, I think for us collective as an industry, the idea of removing friction, having customers more satisfied with the experience, and drawing more money, because like, let's get leisure. The real competition, it is amongst the players that are in the travel industry, or is the real competition is instead of you spending money on a holiday, you spend money on a new electrical vehicle, doing a refurbishment at your house, buying solar panels. So it is like you're competing actually for the wallet of the client. So it is like, I think as an industry, we need to deliver the best experience possible. And I think what makes it very difficult is, as it is a very fragmented ecosystem, so we're talking about tens of thousands of travel sellers. We're talking about thousands of airlines, thousands of airports. So it is like, how are we going to, as an industry, adopt that technology at the same pace so that customers see a difference? Because you can say on a little island that is working, but the question is, as an industry, are we able to deliver everything that, all of the experience that the customer is expecting from us? So I think technology exists. Now it is a question of execution and adoption. So it is a question of scaling. An example that I give is, I think we always say we would like to have Amazon experience in the industry. And then we compare the level of investments. So Amazon is investing 70 billion in IT. It's like Amadeus number, it is 1.3 billion, and we are the biggest investor in terms of travel tech on the space. So 70 to 1.3 billion. So it is like, if we would like to deliver Amazon experience in travel, it will require collaboration and everyone focusing on the idea that we are building an ecosystem together. So I think that's the call for action. That's
so speaking of investment, so yes. You know, we are doing lots in the industry outside of AI that's really having an impact on this frictionless travel that you talk about. So maybe you can, you know, you can explain some of the investments that you made early in the year as far as acquisitions go. Yes. You know, not AI-specific technologies that leverage AI, but maybe you can kind of explain to the audience what those technologies are doing to enable that frictionless experience.
So our vision is, how could we, as a technology company, be present in all of the touch points and be able to, through technology, take that friction away? So it's like when we look then at touch points, we say, great, we are present in travel sellers, we are present at airports, hotels, airlines, but we were missing. We had a few gaps. So one of them was border control. So that's why we went ahead and bought Visionbox, which is a company that has 33% of the gates in the planet in doing border control. They have a biometric software we went ahead and bought Voxel, which is a company that does B2B reconciliation in payments. So allows us, we already have a fintech, but this adds reconciliation to it. So it's like when we start looking into all of these pieces of the puzzle, we're starting to say, how can then we deliver that experience so that the customer does not have to provide the same information multiple times. So if you look today, how many times you need to present your payment information? How many times you need to present your passport information? How many times you need to present the same details over and over again on the touch points? So the question is, can we, as an industry and as technology, be able to ask a customer and say, would you like to share that information with all of the value chain that will be servicing you during that trip? So I think that is our vision. It is the one-click travel, the idea that we're going to be able to support from a technology point of view all of these touch points. And then going from there is, how can I say, work with partners. Because as I was saying, Amadeus alone is not going to be able to deliver that experience. It's going to be us plus all of our customers, all of our partners, delivering as an ecosystem the experience to travelers.
So how close are we? So you mentioned one-click travel, which I think is a really interesting concept. You posted something on LinkedIn maybe a month or so back. Are we making progress towards that? And maybe even just offer an explanation of what does that one-click travel mean?
Look, from my point of view, yes, we're making progress into that. I think that the one technology that allows this to be much more possible is cloud. So I think that all players moving into real cloud-native type of applications, the possibility of us sharing in real-time information becomes much more possible. I think that is number one. Number two, when we see and we talk to our customers, all of them are going through a process of reviewing their businesses and defining themselves as a digital business. So when we talk to airlines, when we talk to hotels, when we're talking to travel, everyone would like to be a digital platform in itself. So this means that we are digitalizing the processes that before had a lot of manual elements. And I think that everyone is on this idea of collaboration and saying, we need to extract more value out of every trip. We didn't talk here about, let's say, the big sword that is hanging over the neck of all of us, which is sustainability. But if sustainability translates into lower CAGR in terms of trips, because trips are going to become more expensive, then how is going to be our growth equation? Because today, we all benefit from the fact that you have an above GDP CAGR in terms of travel. If that disappears and it becomes part of GDP, how will travel continue growing faster than GDP? And that will have to come for the fact that customers need to be willing to pay a little extra for every trip. But they're only going to do that if we're delivering value.
Absolutely.
And for us to deliver value, it means that we're going to have to collaborate as an industry. No?
And I fully agree with you there. We did some research on sustainability earlier in the year. Actually, it was late last year. And there's a really big gap between customers, their perception about their willingness to prioritize sustainability and their willingness to pay for it. And I think we've seen those types of findings over the last 5 years or so. What do we need to do as an industry to educate customers better about how we're providing more sustainable options for them?
Yes, I think we're at the very beginning of this journey. Because essentially, if you see something as basic as inform and make that part of the decision process, as an industry, we're not able to do that at scale. So it's like, can we agree on a single CO2 calculator? Can we display that information? Can we actually be able to report it? If a customer would like to buy a quality offset, would that be possible on the flow? So I mean, we're talking about some basic elements of what would require us to start giving the answers to customers around sustainability, and those are still not in place. So I think that's where we need to start, and then from there, the industry will need, because we are heavy dependent on energy, solutions that will come as well from the energy side on saying it is like, how are we going to be able to consume clean energy in order to do transportation and everything else? This is on the air traffic side. On the hospitality side, you have the worry about over-tourism. So the sustainability not from the environment point of view, but it is the sustainability from the social point of view, where you're going and saying you're bringing all of these customers into that community, and it's like, is that creating real wealth and richness, or you're only consuming the resources and making the life of those that are on that community more expensive? So
all right,
we have plenty of topics in there, so sorry.
Plenty of work to do. So I want to finish with a game called long or short. So as an investor, if you're long, you know, something that you think is really important into the future. Short is something that's going to be quick and maybe gone.
Yeah.
Personalization. Are you long or short on
I'm
personalization?
short.
Short on personalization. Check-in desks, physical check-in desks at airports.
Short.
Short on physical check-in desks. Travel in the metaverse.
Travel in the metaverse. I'm short.
Short on travel in the metaverse. Digital identity.
Digital identity. I'm long.
I suspected you might be long there. How about luxury travel?
Long on luxury travel.
Long on luxury travel.
Yes.
The new age of travel, so I'm going to give you a this or that.
Yes.
The new age of travel or the new agents that will drive us forward?
Very good question. I will stay with the new age of travel.
And it's
I'll
all
tell
about
you why. Because I think AI, it is means to an end. So I think that what we need to unlock, it is the customer centricity. AI will support us in that journey, but the focus on the customer. So it is a new age of travel, delivering more value to travelers, and agents will help us deliver that.
Great. Thank you very much, Decius.
Thank you.